Hello, I welcome you back to this channel. Please, if you are new to the channel, please don't forget to leave the channel without subscribing to the channel. Like the video that you're watching and give us your comment. You can also share the video for others to also benefit. Now, today's lesson we are going to combine some cool things we have already learned in the previous lessons. And please, if you don't have access to my previous lesson from lesson 1, please check the description section for the links to other videos. You can also click on the channel name so that you can go to my dashboard and get access to all my videos. Okay, so as I said, today we are going to combine the things we have already learned, the formulas, the formatting, and others that we have learned into this lesson. Now, first of all, let's create a practice sheet. So this is a practice sheet. You can just create any sheet. So my sheet, I have the column A is for names of students. Then column B is for test 1, column C test 2, column D test 3. So I have an empty column where I will take my total. I also have another empty column where I would be taking my average. Let's start with the total section. So we are going to add a particular group of this. So let's start from here. So let's hit the E2, so the cell E2, and then let's type equal sign, then you type sum. You open your brackets, then you click the first, because we want to add from B2 to D2. So just select the first person or the first data, first number, then you drag across to the last person. And then you close your bracket, then hit on enter. So now it has calculated for the first person, which is what? John. Now I don't want to use the same formula. I don't want to be entering the same formula equal to for the rest of the student. For maybe in case you have about, let's say you have about 100 students, so you can just place your mouse pointer at the edge of the cell, this cell. Just place your mouse pointer at the edge. So the moment you place the mouse pointer at the edge, so that it will turn to this plus icon here. So just left click and then you drag to the last person, then you release. You are going to see that it will automatically calculate the rest, the total of the rest formula. So we call this formula the autofill formula. Now we can also use, without dragging, we can also use something called double click. So because these areas are all filled, you can just place your mouse pointer on the edge without dragging. You just double click on it, automatically it will fill the roof. So in case you have about 10,000 on your list, and imagine you dragging to the last person, you see that it will be a tedious work. So all you need is just place your cursor at the edge of the cell, and then you double click and it will autofill for you. Okay, so now let's calculate the average. So let's click on the F2 and then we type equal sign, then we type our average, we spell our average, then we open our brackets. Then the same way we want to get the average of these values, so just click and then we drag to the from test 1 to test 2. You then close your bracket and you hit on enter. So it will give you the average, of the 3 texts of that particular person. So the same way you can just double click and then it will autofill for you. Okay, so now let's try to multiply and divide. So let's add a new column here. Okay, so when you want to add borders to this, you just go to this section here. You can see this icon here. Just click on this small icon here. You are going to see this list of borders. So just go to all borders and it will give you the borders for this. So you can just let's forget of the title here. Now let's come to this section here. So we are going to divide. So let's say we want to divide the total by 3, or we want to, let's try to convert. Now we have this total. So let's say for an exam score, we want to convert this to, let's say, 50 marks as the class score. So 50% for the class score. Let's say you are calculating an SBA, and for SBA class score is 50, exam score is 50. But now the class score, the lowest person is getting 116. That means you need to convert everything to 60. Okay, so this is what you are going to do. So you have get the total here. So you are going to convert this total to 50. You are going to make reference. So you click on equal sign, and then you make reference to this cell. So this cell, so now basically the total of the whole cell is 100%. So 100 plus 100 for test 1, 100 for test 2, and 100 for test, making what? 300. So now the total will be this cell, which is what? Where the total is, the cell. Then you divide. So you use the forward slash as the division. So you divide by the total. So the total now here is what? The total now here should have supposed to be 300, because 100 for each text is 300. So the total, assumed total, is 300. Then you multiply it using the asterisk. So you multiply by 50. You multiply by 50. So 50 is the value that we want to convert to. Then you click on enter. So now 116 into 50% is 19 point that value. So just double click and then you drag. You can see that. So let's try and see if we change these values all to 100. We're going to get 50% here. So let's change this one to 100 to confirm that our calculation is correct. Then the next one we change to 100. Then the next one also change it to 100. Good. So now you can see that our percentage is what is correct. Now this is how we can calculate or convert values to percentage. So now in case you have these marks here, let's say 50 marks, the marks here, you want to add, let's say, 10% to some of the students, maybe a student who was punctual in class, and you want to add at least 10% to the marks. So at that stage you need to add 10%. So you are going to multiply them by 10%. So this is what you're going to do. You click on the equal sign, and then you hit on the cell that you want to add a 10%. So you want to add a 10% to, okay, let me change it let me use for this one, the last person here. So I'll select the cell here, hit on the equal sign, then make reference to this cell. This is the cell that you want to add 10% to. Then you bring your times, and then you add your 0.1. So 0.1 represents 10%. Hit on enter. So the moment you hit on enter, that means 10% of this, 10% of this value is what? Is 0.5. So that will be the bonus for the person. So the 25.5 will now be added to the person value. Equally, if you want to drag across, you can just do that, and then you drag across. Okay, so that's how you can multiply and divide in Excel. Okay, so I'll end the lesson here, and we are going to continue in another lesson.